Martha Vickers was an actress from Hollywood's golden age that rose to prominence thanks to her appearance in the 1946 film noir The Big Sleep, which was directed by legendary filmmaker Howard Hawks. Her performance in the film was so successful, she managed to eclipse co-star Lauren Bacall even with reduced time on screen. But Martha's successful performance sadly didn't yield much of a career afterwards. The actress passed away at the young age of 46 after exiting the industry. Join Facts First as we explore how Martha Vickers had a beauty that eclipsed Lauren Bacall. Martha Vickers was an actress whose big break was the 1946 film noir The Big Sleep, directed by legendary filmmaker Howard Hawks and based upon a novel by author Raymond Chandler. The film was intended as a starring vehicle for the pairing of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, who had previously achieved success together in the 1944 feature To Have and Have Not. Although The Big Sleep was intended to capitalize on the success of Humphrey and Lauren's chemistry in the film, it was Martha Vickers who ended up stealing the show as Lauren's on-screen younger sister. Martha played the sex-crazed character of Carmen Sternwood. The character was a drug-addled nymphomaniac, which couldn't have been further from what the actress who played her was like in real life. Still, Howard Hawks managed to get an effective performance out of the actress. In fact, it was so impressive, Martha actually eclipsed her more experienced co-stars in the eyes of audiences. This came in spite of the fact that many of Martha's scenes were cut to make room for more of Humphrey and Lauren. Raymond Chandler personally claimed he believed Martha Vickers gave a more memorable performance in The Big Sleep than Lauren Bacall, who was a much bigger star at the time of the film's release. Sadly, the attention Martha got from her turn in The Big Sleep didn't pave the way for a consistent career in the entertainment industry. Martha appeared in several more features after The Big Sleep before eventually calling it quits on acting. None of these features proved to be a big success. According to Howard Hawks, Martha's roles after The Big Sleep were unsuccessful because they failed to play into the negative character aspects that had made her performance in the film so fascinating. Instead, Martha's subsequent roles made her into a good girl, which Howard claimed the audience didn't want to see. It seems his direction and insistence that Martha play outside her comfort zone are big parts of what made Martha Vickers' role in The Big Sleep so successful. The young actress was certainly outside her comfort zone when performing in the role of sex-crazed Carmen Sternwood. According to an on-set anecdote, there was a moment where Howard Hawks instructed Martha to simulate an orgasm for a scene. In response to the request, she revealed she didn't know what an orgasm was. An embarrassed Howard Hawks then had to have another crew member explain to the young actress what he needed her to do. Martha was apparently a virgin at the time, though her performance ended up satisfying Howard. Following Martha's appearance in The Big Sleep, she went on to appear in a dozen more features to decreasing acclaim, with several of those being other film noirs that attempted to capitalize on her successful performance in The Big Sleep. Apparently, she came to director Howard Hawks after a string of failures and asked him what he thought was going wrong. It was at this time Howard apparently expressed that he felt the audience didn't want to see her as a good girl. Martha was married 3 times throughout her life. One of her husbands was Mickey Rooney, and her marriage to him brought her nearly as much attention as her role in The Big Sleep did. None of her marriages proved incredibly successful, and she was unmarried at the time of her death in 1971. By that point, she had essentially retired from films as well. She never had a role that matched the success of her performance in The Big Sleep, though she certainly tried. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already, and stick around for more on Martha Vickers. Martha Vickers was born in Michigan on May 28, 1925. During her childhood, her family moved around the country, living in Texas, Florida, and eventually California. It was there she came of age and blossomed into a star. Her break into the entertainment industry came when a photographer named William Mortensen hired her to be a model for his still photographs. The first producer to take an interest in young Martha Vickers was David O. Selznick. After catching the attention of David, Martha signed a contract with him, but nothing ended up coming of that contract. Then Universal Pictures swept up Martha and began casting her in some of its horror movies. The roles she received with the studio were incredibly minuscule. She appeared as a corpse in 1943's Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman before receiving slightly bigger roles in the less popular features Captive Wild Woman and The Mummy's Ghost. Although her career on film wasn't doing so hot at the time, she did find some success as a pinup model during the early days of World War II. She was then swept up by RKO Pictures and given her most prominent roles yet, appearing in features such as Marine Raiders and The Falcon in Mexico. Both of these were released in 1944, and they were her most successful turns yet. Not long after, Warner Brothers contacted Martha, and her time with that studio led to her most successful period. Of course, that period of brief success was instigated and defined by Martha's performance in The Big Sleep, released in 1946. The actress appeared in numerous other pictures over the ensuing decade, before eventually retiring altogether, not long before her death in the 1970s. Some of the films she could be seen in were The Man I Love, as well as That Way with Women in 1947. She was also in Love and Learn, and a pair of films in 1949 called Bad Boy and Alimony. In 1948, Martha Vickers got married for the first time, though that was short-lived. Her first husband was a film producer named A.C. Lyles, though the marriage was over the same year it started. The next year, she married fellow star Mickey Rooney. Many speculated Martha entered into the relationship to boost her own celebrity status, but she didn't appear in a single feature film during her short-lived marriage to Mickey Rooney. They met in 1949 and were divorced in 1951. Although Mickey was Martha's second husband, Martha was Mickey's third wife. Martha and Mickey had a son together in 1950 and named him Teddy. But their marriage wasn't successful. Mickey had hit the first lull of his career by that time and was starting to drink heavily. Meanwhile, Martha was in similarly dire straits when it came to her career, and she was unsure about the future. After divorcing him in 1951, Martha married third and final husband Manuel Rojas in 1954. The next year, she appeared in The Big Bluff, hoping her role in that feature would be enough to revitalize her career. But sadly, it didn't bring her much exposure. After that, she transitioned into television and found some success in the medium. Although Martha's marriage to Manuel Rojas didn't last, it was the most successful marriage she had. They had 2 children together and remained married until 1965. She passed away from cancer at only 46 in 1971 at her home in Hollywood, California. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know that a teenage Martha Vickers had to be instructed by crew members as to what an orgasm was? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.